So glad that you're here. I want to tell you about who's going to be on my show this Sunday, Faith and Freedom with Shemaine on Real America's Voice. You guys, you can watch this anytime at realamericasvoice.com or americasvoice.news, either one. But watch it, go there right after we get done with this, and you can watch all of the previous shows. But the shows come out, the new shows come out every Sunday at 10 a.m. But what's great is it's on the internet, it's accessible 24/7. Can't sleep in the middle of the night? Go to Real America's Voice. You want to find out who my guests are? Go to Real America's Voice. And I want to tell you who is going to be on the show this Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. I know I say that every Sunday, but the guests just keep getting better and better. And then please stick around because I want to give you some very, very important information that you might not know about toxic mold. I have been getting phone calls lately from some people that I'm not shocked, but they're getting bad information, and I want to steer you in the right direction. So before I continue, please let me know where in the world you are watching from, and I will highlight your questions or comments that you have. So right in the comments section. So on this Sunday's Faith and Freedom with Shemaine, somebody posted, I did a video on Instagram, and somebody said, wearing glasses doesn't make you smarter, doesn't make you look smarter. And I didn't respond this, but I should have. Yeah, but I can actually see if I wear the glasses. So maybe, I don't know. This Sunday's Faith and Freedom show, I have former press secretary to Donald Trump, Sean Spicer. And he is great. We talk about when President Trump was in office, Ted and I visited the White House, had dinner with Sean and Sarah Palin and Kid Rock. And we talk about taking selfies in the Oval Office and some of the other photos. And it was just a great time. And I told Sean, we got to reenact those photos. We got to, get ready because we're going to reenact them. So Sean talks about the obvious lawfare waged against President Trump and how people aren't buying it's not affecting his polling at all. In fact, it's increasing his polling. And we talk about the debates, if the debates are actually going to happen or not. What do you think? You're going to have to watch Sunday. Then I also have Dr. Richard Bartlett. Now, he is one of the first people who came out. I hope this doesn't get me banned here, but he came out and he talked, how do I say this without getting myself in trouble here? Because here's the thing. This is number one. This is the reason I started my Real America's Voice show, because I got banned on TikTok, banned on Twitter. I've been banned on TikTok. It seems like often, been shadow banned. And I'm like, there's got to be a place where I can say what's on my mind. But not only that, let's think back to 2020. Maybe I can get away with talking about generalities. So let's think back to 2020, March 20th, 2020. I remember that day well because that's when one of my books came out. Which one is it? I think I got it right here. March 20th of 2020, 4 Minutes to Happy. I think that's the day that this book came out. And people were operating in fear, and the media, there was a ticker of how many people were dying, how many people had this pandemic, this illness. And Dr. Richard Bartlett was one of the first doctors who came out with a very inexpensive, again, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. On my Real America's Voice show, we talk all about it, and we don't have to beat around the bush. We just come right out and say what the other therapies were, that he had 100% success ratio in, as a doctor, treating all of his patients, and they all survived. And we go into the details. Then he also talks about not the possibility, but the very likelihood of, okay, so somebody write this in the comment section so I don't have to come right out and say it. I see we got Daryl. So Bird, I'm going to wait a pause. Illness that could be coming. Do you know what I'm saying? Just write in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? So it's the very likelihood because a therapy has already been put together. Thank you. Okay. You guys you're playing along really well. Thank you. Brad says it. Okay. So this is very likely, and you remember 2020, what happened in 2020? It was an election year. What is 2024? It's an election year. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm thinking something's probably going to happen. And it's very likely that what Brad and what Justin and all of these other people are saying is actually going to happen because they already have the therapy. You know what I'm saying? They already have this. And we go into great detail about what you need to get. It's not going to cost you a lot of money. What you need to get. So please, guys, please go to Real America's Voice Sunday, anytime after 10 a.m. Let me see, where is that? I got to put these things that might make me look smart, but they actually work and I can see. So my show is called Faith and Freedom with Shemaine, and you can watch it anytime on realamericasvoice.com. But the Sundays show with Sean Spicer and Dr. Richard Bartlett, you're going to want to know what you need to have to be prepared. And he tells you the steps you need to take in case this, what everybody was saying, you know what I'm saying? Let me see if I find it. What Justin said, if that actually comes to fruition, it most likely will. Again, remember, this is an election year. They are pulling out, it didn't work to convict President Trump. It actually worked against them because his popularity has grown. He's got actually more financial backing because of this. People know. They understand what's going on, that this is obvious lawfare against President Trump, trying to keep him, trying to tell people, oh, you don't want to vote for a convicted felon. Nobody really, it's not that they don't care, but Sean talks in great detail about this as well. So, all right, now I'm gonna tell you a little bit more. One more person who's on the show on Sunday, and then I'm going to answer some questions because I see one I definitely have to address. I also have Pastor Shane Winnings on, and we talk about, this month is Pride Month, and we talk about how do Christians approach this? How are we to, it's triggering for a lot of people, especially Christians. So Pastor Shane Winnings joins me and we talk all about that. Okay. And then I have funny pet videos, but there's one that's sad, and it's a good sad. It's a soldier comes home and her dog doesn't recognize her at first. And it's just, I do have a funny pet video, but then I have this video also. So it's very heartwarming, funny pet videos. But if you haven't seen my show on Real America's Voice, I always end with something to make you smile and to make you feel better, because there is so much going on in the world. And as Ephesians 6:12 says, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against rulers and principalities and evil forces of this dark world. So, guys, the media is trying to divide us. The media is trying to do that to us. If someone was in an accident, you would probably, if you're watching this right now, you would probably pull over and help them, right? We don't say, oh, are you Democrat or Republican or whatever? And the media is really, really unfortunately pitting us against each other. So, okay, I'm going to go on to address some of these comments. Yes, Brad, I talk about that. That's what I think I got banned. And I do take these two, what you said right there. I take that and I take that. I take that one every day. I take that one every day. And I take that one once a week. And lots of vitamin. Your immune system is still working. Okay. So where was that comment? Okay. Here's Sharon says, no, it's not. It is not true. Not because they don't want to, but I think, unfortunately, guys, with AI, it's interesting how all this is going to turn out because they're putting together, saying Ted and Kid Rock are touring. They're not. They have no plans to. It's just that Ted's got other plans. I'm sure Kid Rock has other plans. I'm sure they'd love to. But be careful about the websites you go to. I had somebody ask me, is this true? Like, they'll take all of my photos. Like, I have to tell you, obviously, compared to Ted, compared to Kid Rock, I'm nobody. But they will even take all of my photos and put it on another website and then ask you for a donation to win a free bow. That ain't me. I'm not going to ask you for that. Ted's not going to ask you for that. So be very careful about those types of things. Okay, so profile personality. Hey, thank you, Kelly. I'm going to read this comment. It's a very long comment, but I thank you. Guys, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good what's happening to this country. And I have to ask you, how about if I do this? I put it in the form of a question. Do we have a country if we don't have a border? I think that's a legitimate question. Do we have a country if we don't have a border? Your tax dollars are going to fund other countries' borders to protect their borders, like Ukraine. Why aren't we protecting ours? And I get it. There are some people who are coming in this country that are seeking asylum. What percentage are seeking asylum versus what percentage are coming for nefarious reasons? And why are they all military age fighting men? Human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking is out of control. We're all seeing more and more rapes and murders and horrible things happening to innocent people, children. You all heard about the teenager and the mother of 5 that was raped and murdered by somebody who was let out again and again. Do you realize they're letting out their prisoners in other countries, Venezuela, and they're letting them come across our border unchecked? Don't get me started. Yes, I am. Hey, Dale Nelson. Is this the Dale Nelson that I went to school with? Just curious. Fear and division. Absolutely. Good afternoon, Kevin from Omaha. All right, guys. What is part of a conspiracy? I see all these long comments. I don't want to. Sometimes. Praying all these illegals don't get to vote. I know. So that's the next thing. Do you know in Illinois, illegals can become cops? Do you know that they're going to be able to vote in California? I see lots and lots of no to AI. Stop trolling, Kelly. Okay, I think that we do have a troll. Oh, thank you very much. Nicey? Is that Nicey? Nicey Moore. Okay. Yes, I agree. So I'm going to take just a minute to see any questions or comments. Oh, I wanted to leave you with some information, valuable information. I want to provide you with something. I just had a friend reach out and said she had a friend reach out to her because she knew me and wanted to get some information about mold. I'm not trying to sell you this book, but I do things because I think it can make a difference, or I know it can make a difference. I know this will make a difference in your life. If you've ever had any question about toxic mold, how to recognize, remediate, or recover from toxic mold, go to Amazon and grab this book. It's only available on Amazon. And it's not a long read, but it's not only my story, but there are other stories here as well. And you'll hear about the warning signs, how do you recognize? And I had this friend contacted me and said that their friend said that they had mold spores everywhere. Well, there are mold spores everywhere, inside and outside of your house. depends on what type of mold spores are inside of your house. And there's a way to go about testing. And unfortunately, there are a lot of scammers out there. There are a lot of legal ramifications, and I want you to be aware of that. So please go check out this book, Killer House. It's available on Amazon.com. I also have, I don't know if it's in here anywhere, killerhouse.org. If somebody wants to write that in the comments section, you can go check out my documentary that I made, killerhouse.org. I'll be looking for somebody. No border, no country, Rocco says. I totally agree. Thank you so much, Max. Killerhouse.org. Roseanne Barr and Derek Johnson. I will check that out. And Sean Spicer, going back to my show. No, we weren't. I'll tell you what happened, Courtney. I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about this or not. So Courtney says, were you at Turning Point? I was supposed to be going to Turning Point. I am a Turning Point ambassador. And I think what happened is somebody actually asked me if I could get Kid Rock to come and perform. And I said, well, that's not how it works. Killerhouse.org. Thank you, Rocco Branca. That's not how it works. If you know the proper channels, that's the best way to go, because, people all the time ask me, can Ted come play at my son's brother's cousin's wedding? Number one, he's probably booked. Number two, probably no. There's just a lot, and scheduling is a big deal. So number one, you got to see if that person is available. Sheila Ray, thank you. And I said, I don't want to reach out to Kid Rock and, hey, that's not the way to do it. I said, but actually Ted is available. He could play the national anthem before President Trump, and he was going to. And there was a bit of a snafu, and I don't know exactly what happened. I don't think it was with Turning Point. I don't think that it was with President Trump, because Ted texted Don Jr. right away. Don Jr. didn't even know about it, but there's a lot of people. There's so many moving parts to putting these big, huge events together. And one of the event organizers said, oh, Ted, you're going to have to park in public parking, walk with your guitar and amp through the front door. And Ted's like, no, that's not going to happen. So again, President Trump didn't know about that. Don Jr. didn't know about that. Don and Ted text all the time. They're friends. So, and we don't want to involve people on there are proper channels to go through. And so anyways, long story short, no, I did not go to the Turning Point event. I had friends that did, and they loved it. Okay. So you qualified to transfer running mate. Okay. Now you're getting into the nitty gritty. Okay. I'll answer one more question. God is greater, living the toxic mold nightmare. Finally out of the killer cottage we were living. Okay. So, I'm going to need a drink of water for this. Rocco Branca's got a good answer. What about that? Okay. So probably would never happen. It would be great, right? How about somebody brought up, I think Don Jr. even said, how about Ted Nugent as press secretary? Would that not be fun? Why can't we start having fun? Politics is too serious. I think, I know Byron Donalds. He's from Naples, Florida, and I've had him on my show a few times. I've been at a few events before. I think about 5 years ago, when he was just starting to get involved in politics. And I liked him back then. He was very personable. He came up to me. He didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. And we just had a great conversation. I think Byron's very smart. Anna Paulina Luna. That's who I would like to see. I just got goosebumps. I'd like to nominate Anna Paulina, Representative Anna Paulina Luna. That's who I would like to see. That's it. Okay. So, Trump pronounces. Okay. I'm looking at all those. Oh, you're so kind, Kevin. Thank you. All right. There was one other question I wanted to. Okay, so Trump's run. I'm going to be the first to promote that. I'm going to be the first one. You guys spread that around. Maybe we can get that going. She's a woman. She's a former fighter jet pilot. She is a badass. She is awesome. She is bold and she is brave. She's been on my show a few times. I've been at a few events with her in Naples. So that's who I would like to see. I will tell you that. Okay. There was another one. Sometimes the answer is no. Yes, Chris, that's true. Okay, so this is what I wanted. I wanted to give you some more advice about toxic mold. God is greater. Living the toxic mold nightmare. Finally, here is the number one thing that is very disheartening for so many people. So many homes have toxic mold. Every home has, every building, not just homes, every building has some degree of mold. You see it in your showers, you see it around the kitchen sink, whether it's toxic or not. And people will say black mold. Not all bad mold is black. Some of it's white. So and I go into great detail in my book about how to recognize, remediate, and recover. And there are so many different ways. We lost our house that was once on MTV Cribs. We had to demolish it. And that's because this was 27 years ago. Nobody was talking about toxic mold. People thought I was crazy. But we ended up finding the right people to help us. Both Ted and I had 4 different types of mold in our bloodstream. I was also diagnosed with having pre-emphysema. I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. My life depended on it. So this is serious. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You're not going to want to hear this if you're living the toxic mold nightmare. If you don't feel well, I said this to a friend of a friend who also got in touch with me and asked for my advice. And she was living in a trailer. They couldn't afford to move out. She has a young son, single mom. And I said, they're both sick. They see mold growing on the walls of this trailer, this mobile home. I said, can you afford to buy a little tent and make this an adventure? And you go camping right outside the front door, outside, and you live in this tent for 4 or 5 days. Take nothing. Try to, again, make it an adventure, with your son. And if you don't want to discuss what's going on, and you say, hey, honey, we're going to try this adventure, see what we can live on. And, we're going to get groceries for $20 and make it an adventure. The bottom line is, if after the 4 or 5 days, preferably a week, you feel better, that's your indication that something is wrong. Now, can you get the house, the mobile home, the building tested and find out exactly what's going on? Absolutely. Would I recommend that? Absolutely. Is that expensive? Yes. Are there some scammers out there who don't know what they're doing? Yes. So again, I'm sure you didn't want to hear all about that, but I do have to share it with you. Okay, cell towers. I know. Guys, you have to get, I'll see if I've got the sponsors on my show, and I'm going to tell you about them because they rock. Okay, so let me see. Okay, cell towers are pushing out radiation. If you drive by the 5G towers, what are they doing? Oftentimes you have no cell signal. 5G towers are there for nefarious purposes. Go watch the movie The Kingsman with Samuel L. Jackson. That was filmed, I believe, in 2012. Nothing good is coming out of 5G. I will tell you that. They're cooking us. So what can you do? Go to sparrowgear.com. And again, I use my Faraday bag every single day at night. Do you know if you have your phone on, you turn it on airplane, or let's say you turn it off, they can still record your conversations. They can still find your whereabouts. They can still take photos. They can still access your camera. Put it in a Faraday bag and rest easy. You shouldn't have your cell phone in the same room when you're sleeping. It should be 6 feet or more away from your bed. No electronics by your bed. I go into all the details also in my book, Killer House, about stuff like that. But go to sparrowgear.com, use the promo code FAITH to get 10% off. Also want to tell you guys about Row Casa Organics. People are asking me, I'm gonna breeze through this. Row Casa Organics, the discount code is FAITH. I want you to get a discount. Who doesn't want a discount? This is all I use on my face. I have had lots of skin issues, probably related to toxic mold. And what happens is once you get sick by some of these, 5G, Wi-Fi, radiation, toxic mold, you're just more sensitive to every darn thing. And my face started breaking out. I found Row Casa. I use the serum, the face cream, the eye cream. They also have body butter. They have candles that are scented with essential oils. They have cleaning products. They got hair stuff. It's really amazing. And I take the elderberry juice every day. I do that. So many things. Go to rowcasaorganics.com. Also want to tell you about Field of Greens. I know Kevin takes Field of Greens every day. Guys, we don't always eat right. I know I don't. And plus, have you heard about them putting mRNA in the lettuce? Have you heard about that? What is in that? Where is that grown from? So go to fieldofgreens.com, use the code FAITH, and you can get a discount. And I take a scoop of Field of Greens, put it in my water bottle, sip that throughout the day. I know I'm getting my fruits and vegetables for the day. Sentry H2O. So this is what I've heard a lot recently also. Never ever drink tap water. Never ever drink tap water. There's just a little bit of arsenic in there, mRNA, volatile organic compounds, things like that. Go to sentryh2o.com and use the code HEALTHY10. Take a screenshot, HEALTHY10 for a discount. It actually enriches your water with essential nutrients that you might not be getting, like magnesium. I take magnesium every day, but I also get it with clean water. What else? Switch to America with Shemaine. All right, I got to tell you about this. So I was recently at a barbecue, and Ted and I have been having Switch to America with Shemaine delivered to our door every month. And we're like, literally like, yay, Switch to America. We can have the good beef. And it probably didn't come across really well, but I was at this barbecue and I said, oh, have you guys ever tried Switch to America with Shemaine? And they looked at me funny and I'm like, that probably didn't come across right. This is the best tasting beef you will ever have. No mRNA. It's clean, grass-fed. And here's the other reason why you want to go to Switch to America with Shemaine. We got to support patriots. You heard about what's happening in Idaho. They're shutting off the water. It's despicable. We need to support these patriot farmers and made in the USA products. But it tastes freaking awesome. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you about it. I swear. So switch to americawithshemaine.com. Now, here's what's going to happen. If you go to the website right now, there's so many different products. You fill out some information, and somebody from my Patriot team is going to call you. Why do you have to give them your cell phone number? Because they're going to help you place your order. Trust me, everybody's got your number anyway. Not everybody, but you know what I mean. Some people don't want to give up that information. I understand that. But if you want to get Switched to America with Shemaine, maybe you could put in your email address and create a new email, but they will help you place your order. And here's the thing. You don't have to go grocery shopping. You can get it delivered right to your door. Okay. I think that's about it for today. Watch Faith and Freedom with Shemaine. Watch it anytime at realamericasvoice.com. Go there right now after the show, and you go to the drop-down menu, look up shows, and scroll down to the bottom. I'm kind of at the bottom. And you can watch my previous shows, but definitely watch Sunday. I got Sean Spicer, former press press secretary to President Donald Trump. We talk about what happened when Ted and I went to the White House and had dinner with President Trump and Sarah Palin and Kid Rock, and we reminisce about that. But Sean also talks about the debates coming up, what's going to happen, is Biden going to get replaced, all of that stuff. Also have Dr. Richard Bartlett talking about that thing that I couldn't say that you guys said it so well. I'm going to see if I can find it in the comment section. You guys said it so well. That thing that might be happening, not might be, pretty sure that it's going to happen. I'm going to see somebody write that in the comment section again, because it's better if you say it than I say it. Okay. Anyways, watch Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'm there every Sunday, guys. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to not have to beat around the bush and mince words. I can just say whatever I want. My guests can say whatever they want, and I'm so grateful to have that opportunity. So, okay, don't forget killerhouse.org to find out more information on. There's some free resources at killerhouse.org. Also, go to Amazon, pick up this book. It's a good read, quick read. It's not just my story. Ted writes in here. Rocco writes in here. Some other stories you'll want to read about. And it could change your life. It could save your life. All right, guys, have a great day. Make it a great day. Do something healthy and happy just for you today. I'll see you soon. I'm here every Wednesday.